Good day once again, and welcome to the part 4 video presentation, which is actually the continuation of the part 1, 2, and 3 videos that we have talking about data and process modeling. So in this video, we will continue learning more about how to properly use the symbols for us to master it before we start developing the our own DFD. So let's continue. So another diagram that we will check, okay, whether it shows correct usage of the symbols. So first, okay, this one, supplier, external entity with the warehouse manager. This is wrong. Why? Because there is no process in between. Okay, second thing is, okay, look, the external entity is directly connected also to a data store. So this is wrong. Remember, there must be process in between. Third, as you can see here, this becomes an independent process. Okay, there is no data flow and it is not connected to the other processes or elements in the DFD. So this is absolutely wrong. Okay, and then another thing is, okay, as you can see, some of you answered that this is wrong because it started with D2, and then this is wrong because it started with D4. So yeah, this is also considered, but actually you can put any name for this one. Okay, so it does not really matter much. And then this is, by the way, an example of level 2, because as you see here, we have begin with 5.1, 5.2, so it means that it has a parent process from its level 1. Okay, so one more mistake that it is showing is this process, because the process ends with only input. Okay, there is no outgoing data flow. So that's it for the second diagram. Okay, let's go now to the third diagram. So in this third diagram, okay, first that is very evident here is the, okay, data store to data store, okay, directly connected to each other. This is one mistake. Okay, second is this entity, external entity, okay, directly connected to the other external entity. So this is wrong. Okay, third, okay, this process number 3, you could not see any outgoing data flow. All are incoming data flow to process number 3. Okay, fourth mistake here is that since this is level 1, so you should not use 0 here, because 0, the unique identifier only for the level 0 or the context diagram. So this should begin with 1. Another thing is, okay, as you can see here, okay, the external entity is directly connected to the data store. So this is also a mistake. Okay, so let's proceed to the other diagram. Okay, in this last diagram, let us try to evaluate, okay, the mistakes. Okay, for one, okay, this one, again, data store directly connected to the data store. Okay, second, this one, okay, the process 2, which is reserved seat, has all the incoming data flow, but there is no outgoing data flow. Another one is that, okay, this can be okay, that there is no connection between the two, but if possible, okay, we can also connect if the output. So let's proceed now to the most interesting part of this lesson. Okay, how to develop a data flow diagram. So based on the concepts that we have learned, we will try to integrate all those things for us to be able to successfully and correctly develop a DFD. So there are steps that we have to follow in developing a DFD. Now, since as students, you are not deployed, or I don't have the chance to assign you to a particular company and conduct a study there to know the processes and let you create a specific DFD for that company. So the best thing that I can do so that you can relate everything that we have discussed is to give you a short case scenario that will show up the different processes or business activities of a certain company. So we have to use these steps even if you are basing your answers, you are basing the DFDs based from the simple scenarios that I will be giving. The important thing there is you will be able to properly use and identify which symbols to be applied, okay? Whether you will use level 0 or you will make level 0, level 1, or level 2. Okay? So the first step that we have to do, okay, if you know already the process or the business activities, is to break the organization system narrative into a list of 4 categories, because as we have known, okay, DFD has 4 symbols to utilize, so we have to know, okay, from the company, what are the external entities that they have, the data flow, the process, and the data store. So if you know already the process, the external entity, the data, and the data store, okay, involved in that business activity, basically you can begin making the DFD. So once all this basic list of data elements has been compiled or ready, okay, we can begin drawing the level 0. So we have to begin drawing the level 0 before we go to level 1. Okay, so we have to begin first with the general, the context diagram. After we make the context diagram, then we will make the level 1 or the diagram 0. We will break down the processes, okay, and then if there is a process in the level 1 that needs to be that needs to show its child diagram, then we will make the level 2. So if there is a need to break down to smaller processes, okay, any of the processes that you have in level 1. So this is what I will do also. This is what we will follow. Okay, what is important now is for you to master how to basically connect the symbols, and you will be able to identify what are these 4 data elements, okay, involved in making a DFD. So I will be giving a process here, and then you will draw a DFD. So for example, here, this scenario shows the enrollment process, and then for a certain university, and then you will be drawing a DFD out of this process. So what should you do once you know already the process? So of course, you have first to read and understand the problem or the scenario. Because from there, if you don't understand the scenario or the problem, basically you could not come up with a DFD. So you have to know who are the people, okay, the things that supply the information or use the information from the system, basically the EE or the external entity. You have to know also the processes. So you have to see in that scenario the actions, the verbs, okay, the doing words. That's the key there, to know where are the processes. And you have also to know what are the data flows, okay. So the data flows can either be a movement or exchange of information or data between external entities to processes, and processes to another process, okay, or a process to a data store. And you have also to identify where is that keywords that signifies that you need to store, you need to record information, or you need to save the data, okay, to know where are the data stores. And then once you have able to understand properly or clearly the scenario, then you have now to identify where is the EE, which stands for the external entity, okay, where is the DF and the data flow. You have to know where are the processes, okay, where are the data stores as the data provided by the system. So just you need to know the keywords here, class, since I am giving short scenarios. So all you need to know is to familiarize the keywords that will identify each element of DFD. So just like for in this example from the scenario that I have shown to you, so you can identify, example, student is an external entity, application form is a data flow, check because this is an action word, so that is a process, okay? Enroll is also process, confirm is a process, confirmation letter is a DF, rejection letter is a DF. So we will follow the same thing, okay? So I assure you, once you master this one, it's not difficult anymore to make a DFD, whether it's level 0, level 1, or level 2. So once you have able to identify all the data elements from the scenario, then you can now make the level 0. You could not proceed making the level 0 if you don't know, okay, or you have not properly identified the elements of DFD. Okay, or the symbols. And then after we make the level 0, then we will make the level 1. Then after the level 1, we will make the level 2 or the child diagram if there is a need. Okay, but again, child diagram is just an option. So let us begin developing the DFT. Okay, but before that, okay, I am going to give you some list, okay, for some points to remember when creating a data flow diagram. Remember, for level 0 or context diagram, there must only be one process. Take note of this, okay? And the name of this process must be the name of the whole system. Second, in the level 0, you have to put all external entities, and this can be repeated, okay? Then you have to put all the data flow, but the data, okay, identified as input or output must not be repeated. So identify, if it is an input, then it will be an input given by every entity to the system. Okay, identify all outputs received by the entity from the system. And take note that level 0 has no data stores. Okay, present. Now for level 1, take note that this will show the detailed processes. So it has to begin with 1, 2, it depends on how many processes the scenario consists of. And then, since each process is uniquely identified with numbers, so process cannot be repeated. And the name of the process must be named according to the specific process, following the format, if as much as possible, the verb, adjective, and noun format. Okay? Then we have to put all external entities, and external entities can be repeated depending on which requires connecting or entering, okay, of data to a certain process. Okay, and then for the data flow, put specific data or inputs given by every entity to a process, or put specific outputs received by the external entity or process from a process, or you can have the data saved to the data store, or you can retrieve some information from the data store. So data here, the input, either input or output, it can be repeated. And then for level 1 or diagram 0, data stores are necessary. So data store should be connected to or from a process only, and same with external entity and data flow, it can also be repeated. Now for the level 2 or child diagram, okay, it must show more detailed processes, but take note, from a specific process only in level 1. So not all processes in level 1, you may have level 2 or child diagram. But if in case it must have, each process in level 1 must have a separate level 2 or child diagram. Okay, it should not be connected. Separate child diagram for each process from level 1. And these processes that you have here cannot be repeated as well. Then, you can put the external entities, or you may not show. It's up to you. It depends on the need. Then the data flows. Remember that the incoming data flow and the outgoing data flow, or the output, should be based from the parent process in level 1. Okay, what the parent received, what the parent produced, should be based, the child diagram's incoming or outgoing data flow. The data stores must be shown when necessary, but it can not be also be present. But if there is a need, you can put the data store, and it must be connected to or from a process. Then again, data stores are or can be repeated. So by now, I think you are ready to draw the complete data flow diagram, but we will have it in my next video. For this video, I'm going to end it with giving you the complete answers of the last diagram that we have evaluated, because it was cut. Okay, so additional errors that are found here is the data store is directly connected to the external entity. Then we have external entity directly connected to the another external entity. Then as you see here, the data flow is named with a process. It is wrong. It should be a noun. And this one, there is no data flow and it is also wrong. So see you in my next